Knock on the Saints door. Quarterback sneak by Tom Brady to the 43-year-old score. He did. Touchdown, Tampa Bay. Now spike that ball, Tom Brady. Who says I'm 43? He runs right up the gut and scores 6. 7. Handoff, run the ball. Fournette slashes away to the 40, to the 35, to the 30, to the 30, 25, to the 20. Fournette to the 10, 5, 3, 2, 1. Touchdown, Tampa Bay. Run the ball, Leonard Fournette. Wow, what a blast up the gut, found daylight, and outran everybody. Fire the cannons, get them going. Bucs win. Bucs win, Bucs win. Fire them cannons.
First snap in Vikings territory for Tampa Bay. Brady all day. Downfield. Touchdown, Scott Miller. Four-man rush. Brady airing it out, going deep. He's got it to Antonio Brown. Touchdown, Tampa Bay. Ronald Jones will get it. Big hole. Jones gets by. Ronald Jones may go all the way. Being chased from behind. Does Jones have enough? Still on his feet. Ronald Jones, 98-yard touchdown.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Swords Up Podcast. Today we're going to be talking about our wild card matchup with the Washington football team. Our first playoff game since the 2007 season. We've been waiting a long time for this one, so I think we're going to be ready to come into this one. And today we're going to be talking about the matchup as well as key players and giving a prediction at the end of it. Alright, so first as always, starting out with the injury news. And for the Buccaneers side of things, a couple of key injuries. But first, the players already confirmed to be out for this one. Defensive lineman Jeremiah Ledbetter dealing with a calf injury. He's going to miss another game this week. And LaShawn McCoy popped up on the injury report with an illness, and so he was confirmed to be out as of the day I'm recording this. And so we'll probably see Keyshawn Vaughn being activated to the game day roster once again. But here are the key injuries that I've been keeping track of this week. Carlton Davis, listed questionable with the groin injury, was a game time decision last week, did not end up playing. I think we're going to need to get him back for the playoffs. Not necessarily for this game. I don't think this will be the biggest problem. I think Terry McLaurin's a little banged up for Washington. I'll get into their injuries in a bit. But if Davis can come back for the divisional round, which he should from the progress he's been making this week, I think we'll be in good shape. But Mike Evans is the one that I've also been keeping track of. As I mentioned in the post-game video for the Falcons game, Mike Evans did not sustain any sort of structural damage on his knee, and MRI confirmed, so it was probably just a hyperextension. He's been practicing in limited participation throughout the week, and so he's going to be coming into this game listed questionable. Again, with Carlton Davis as well, I don't necessarily think we need Mike Evans for this game, but it would be helpful if we do have him. Nonetheless, I think he should be back for the divisional round if we advance. And then taking a look at Washington, only player ruled out for them so far is linebacker Thomas Davis dealing with the knee injury. But some key players questionable coming into this one. Kevin Pierre-Louis with an ankle injury, another linebacker. But here are the three big ones. Running back Antonio Gibson dealing with a turf toe, questionable coming into this one. Didn't really look all that great last week against the Eagles on Sunday Night Football. And so that turf toe was really bothering him last week. And so we'll see how that affects him this week. Terry McLaurin, a couple of weeks ago, was in a walking boot dealing with an ankle injury. Questionable coming to this one. He's definitely not 100% either. Neither is Alex Smith dealing with a calf injury. Questionable coming into this one. Taylor Heineke, the backup quarterback, has been taking most of the first team reps because Smith has been a limited participant in practice. My opinion is that they are going to need Alex Smith to play in this one. Even if he's not 100%, if he's 90% coming to this one, I think he'll be a must start for Washington. With his playoff experience, they're going to need him to play in this one. And so that could be a pretty big blow if any of those three players in Antonio Gibson, Terry McLaurin, or Alex Smith are unable to play in this one. And so with the injuries out of the way, let's now look at the key players for the game, starting out with Washington. And I highlighted Chase Young for them on their defense, leading the number 2 ranked defense for Washington football team. And their front four has been really scary all year. Montez Sweat, Jonathan Allen, Deron Payne, and Chase Young. They have been really generating a lot of pressure on opposing quarterbacks, and Chase Young has been the leader for them in the sack category. And in this 2020 season, he finished with 44 total tackles, 10 for a loss, 7.5 sacks, 12 quarterback hits, 4 passes defended, 4 forced fumbles, 3 fumble recoveries, 1 which went for a touchdown, and that was against the 49ers. He was also a 2021 Pro Bowl selection, in this being his rookie year, of course. He is, I'd say, and odds makers would say as well, the favorite to win Defensive Rookie of the Year at this point in the season. I think it's going to be really crucial for this Washington front to get pressure on Tom Brady. When he's had bad games, Brady has gone up against elite defenses and more specifically really good pass rushes that have gotten pressure to him and forced him to throw some really errant balls that have led to the interceptions that he has thrown this year. Case in point, the Rams, Chiefs, or Saints games, those are prime examples of those situations happening, which leads me into the Bucs key player for this week. And I don't think I would have ever thought about highlighting an offensive lineman as our key player, but I'm going to do just that this week because I think it's that important for our offensive line to protect Tom Brady in this game. And so specifically, I'm going to be highlighting our right tackle, Tristan Wirfs, who's also a rookie, just like Chase Young. He's not going to be going up against Chase Young. That's going to be Donovan Smith. But Wirfs will be going up against Washington's other edge rusher, Montez Sweat, who's pretty good in his own right. One of the 4 first-round picks along that front four for Washington. And looking at Tristan Wirfs this year in 2020, I'd say he's been the best rookie tackle in this 2020 class. And so looking at his stats, he started all 16 games for us, which is really important, the durability along the offensive line to have, because last year, DeMar Dotson, in his last season as a Buccaneer, was struggling with injuries. So to have Wirfs come in and provide that stability at right tackle, pretty much all season long along the offensive line, there's been a lot of stability there. Only one really major injury, and that was when Ali Marpet was in concussion protocol. And he's also only had 3 penalties on the season, 1 holding penalty and 2 false starts. Also only allowed 1 sack on the entire season, and that was to Khalil Mack in the Bears game. He is the 2nd ranked right tackle in the NFL via Pro Football Focus, and the Bucs offensive line as a whole is ranked 5th in the league by, again, Pro Football Focus. And so it's this elite pass rushing front of Washington going up against this Bucs offensive line, which has really improved this year. And I think whoever wins out in this battle could determine the course of the game. I'm going to be completely honest. I think the only way Washington ends up winning this one is if this front four has a monster day against our offensive line and they overpower them and they get to Brady and he throws interceptions, or they get like 5 or 6 sacks on him. And so we'll see how this battle ends up. But with that being said, I also did want to highlight Tom Brady's 2020 season just because he did end up finishing with what I would say to be the best season by a Buccaneers quarterback in franchise history. Obviously set the record for the most touchdown passes in a season by a Buccaneers QB. And you look at the explosive year that Jameis Winston had last year. Not only did he have 7 more touchdowns than Jameis Winston, he also had 18 fewer interceptions. And we all knew when Tom Brady was coming to the Buccaneers that he was definitely going to cut down on that interception total that Jameis had last year. But I don't think a lot of people expected him to throw for 40 touchdowns and have 43 total touchdowns on the season, the same as his age. And so looking at his 2020 season as a whole, he finished with 401 completions on 610 attempts, giving him 65.7% completion percentage for 4,633 yards, which ended up placing him 3rd in the league. 40 touchdowns, which tied him for 2nd in the league in passing touchdowns. 12 interceptions, averaging 7.6 yards per attempt, which was 0.1 yards away from being top 10, and a quarterback rating of 102.2, which placed him 9th in the league. And so for Tom Brady, you really couldn't have asked any more of him coming into this season for us, especially how it looked like he was declining in New England. I think everyone would agree that he made the right decision for his career to leave the Patriots and come to the Buccaneers. He's definitely found a spark that he hadn't had for the past couple of seasons and definitely rejuvenated himself. By the way he's been playing, it looks like he's 33 right now and not 43. And so with the prediction of this game, looking at the factors that I just mentioned, and I think that battle between Washington's front four and our offensive line, we'll see how that one goes. I think there will be moments where Brady has pressure in his face sometimes throughout the game. Maybe Washington will get a couple sacks on us, maybe 3. Don't think they'll have a monster game against us. And so I think that'll allow our offense to do just enough, even if Mike Evans doesn't play. I think Antonio Brown could step up again in this one. Also, Chris Godwin could have a good game because he's been really rounding into form. Maybe even Rob Gronkowski finds some playoff magic. We'll just have to see. And I think with this Washington offense being a really pass-first offense, you would think that really is concerning, but they haven't really been able to generate much. And so if the defense is able to do its job, I think the offense will continue to roll along and keep up the form like they've had the past couple of weeks. I think we'll be able to cruise into the divisional round coming off of this game. So I'll predict the Buccaneers to win their first playoff game since Super Bowl 37, and I'll predict it by a score of 31-17. And so that is it for this wild card preview video. Let me know what you think about the matchup in the comments below and the rest of the what's being called Super Wild Card Weekend, I guess, but we'll see how it all ends up, and hopefully the Buccaneers can advance into the divisional round. Like I said, if they win this game, it'll be their first playoff victory since winning Super Bowl 37 back in 2003. And so that is it for me. Thank you guys for watching, and go Bucs.